Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator add-ons, mods, and tools. Been a while since we've done one of these. Been playing around with a few of them this week. That's why we've been a little quiet on the content. Trying to reboot this series. I know you guys really like it and I really fell off of it. Stopped doing them for quite a while. I think just because a lot of the tools got redundant. And some of these that I'm going to show you guys today are a little bit on the redundant side, but some of them have had improvements. And there are some that are just naturally different and cool in their own right. So hope you guys find one or two or maybe all that you like. Links to all of these mods and tools will be down in the description below as always. So without any further delay, let's get started. If you are interested in any of my tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator or simply interested in supporting the channel, consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below. All right, once again, a real quick shout out for myself here, guys, because I keep forgetting to update the damn intro, and I promise one day I'll get it right. But if you are interested in any of the tutorial guides that I have available on Patreon, please know that you no longer have to subscribe to get them. If you guys just go to my Patreon site, click the button on the main page that says shop, you can buy any of my guides individually from the Patreon shop without having to subscribe. Again, no subscription. I know many people don't like the subscriptions and have had issues with Patreon subscriptions in the past and sort of turned them off from using them. So I wanted you all to be aware that the subscription is no longer required. It's a one-time purchase, one and done. Just keep in mind that the subscription is still the better way to go, as $10 a month or tier 3 at $15, I think I have it set to, get you access to all of the guides. So still the better bang for the buck, but if you don't want to go that route, the shop is the option. Now let's get into what we are here to talk about. This first tool I have been playing with last couple days. We've seen many tools like this in the past. However, this one's far more flashy. Aesthetically pleasing does have something to do with the mods and the way that I review them. It is nice to see something that is more refresh and flashy and more up to the par and the generation of technology that we have today, giving it that modern look and modern feel. Sort of does make you feel like you're using something that's more refined and better polished out. This is a takeoff performance calculator, at the moment only designated for Airbus. Now, he does have a video on here, you guys, that you guys can check out right here. I do recommend you muting the music. To the developer, if you see this, love your add-on, absolutely do. Can't get behind the music, but to each their own. I mean no disrespect as I say that, just my personal preference. I did mute it. However, the tool's functionality itself is absolutely phenomenal. So it gives you all of the takeoff information that you would need. Notice it goes a bit further than even what we see sometimes when we do just a calculation of the flex temp. It gives you absolutely everything, even from the denoise. So this is a really slick tool in the way that it's laid out. If you guys watch that intro video on YouTube, it is actually quite impressive. It's a very smooth process, has cool global animations, syncs up with your sim brief, and gives you the full shebang when it comes to your takeoff data, regardless of where you are in the world, as long as it's a registered airport and has MEDAR data available to it. You are going to get a very precise takeoff. During the process, as you zip through it, it will actually have you select from multiple different variants of Airbus aircraft. Notice that this one sort of stands out from the rest, as it does not specify the A320, which is the most common takeoff performance calculator I think that exists on the mods or tools, add-ons, however you want to call it, marketplace of the day. So it's once again, it was very refreshing to see a mod that, or an add-on, excuse me, or a tool, whichever one you want to call it. I am on a roll, but it was nice to see something that has the selection option available. I really do hope that the developer brings this to the Boeing lineup of aircraft, as I think this would be a very phenomenal tool to have, and I think that you as the end users, us as the end users, would use it. Probably it'd become a daily occurrence if you were flying commercial on a regular. Anyways, again, this is going to be the Flight Matrix, or Metrics, excuse me, gosh, I cannot talk today, takeoff performance calculator, and a link to it will be down in the description below. Next up is a really cool tool that makes launching multiple products very, very slick. I've been playing around with this, so I'm going to first tell you what it does. The idea behind it is that it will launch certain programs in sequence, and you get to define what that list is. Now, I want to make it very clear, folks, that there are numerous ways that you can do this, especially if you're handy with batch files and things like that, and essentially that's probably what this is more or less doing on the back end. However, it is very, very simple to use, as is listed in the description here of the tool itself. It works very, very well. It simply just runs executables in a specific format. You can designate at what time, or what order I should say, what sequence a particular add-on or tool of yours may start. So, for example, as you can see here, they have X-Plane and Active Sky loading. The examples that I used on mine is I did Microsoft Flight Simulator, obviously. Then we went into Beyond ATC. Then I went into Navigraph. And then I went to another tool that I'm going to show you guys here in a minute for cabin announcements, just sort of playing around with different things, seeing what options I had available. I even added my OBS to the final end of it, as OBS tends to like it if you have all of your apps that you want available for recording up and running prior to launching OBS. Hint, hint, wink, wink. If you're getting new to it, launch your OBS last. Anyways, so very simple and short recommendation on this particular tool. There isn't a whole lot to it other than, like I said, what it does. It has an automatic launch, or it has an interactive mode, which will set a delay. Again, this is the cool part. Setting a delay means that you could say, for example, launch Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and then launch, I don't know, Beyond ATC 60 seconds later, something to that effect. So you have an option to just shoot them all right down the drain with that quick launch, just bam, bam, executable crazy. The only thing that I did have an issue with this, and I don't think it has absolutely anything whatsoever to do with the software, I think it just has to do with the processing, is I had at one point 6 different applications loading, and I think 1 failed to load. But it may have just been launching them too fast, I'm not sure. But anyway, that was one time only. Other than that, it worked flawlessly. So again, this is Start Flying is the name of the application, a serial program launcher to the developer. You've done a fantastic job here. I really, really enjoy this, and it definitely is a lot easier than writing batch files. Even if you were like myself and you were familiar with doing so, it beats the cake on writing one out yourself. The next one we have up on the list is MSFS Universal Cleaner. This is supported for both Microsoft 2020 and 2024. The idea behind it is to clear out your cache and any kind of NVIDIA caching or Steam and Store install files. And you can see that it's also supporting on both Windows 10 and Windows 11. Believe it or not, that actually is a big point to mention, as 10 users can experience different files and locations and operations than you may find on 11, though they're pretty similar. So essentially what this does is it just literally cleans out your installation. You guys remember how after every patch, what do you guys hear? After every update, what do we always tell you? Clean out your cache, clean your shader cache, clean your temporary files, do this, do that. This application, he hit pretty much every single point that needs to be hit when launching the sim following an update. Now, I am going to throw the caveat in here that I know many of us, including myself on the most recent update to Sim Update 3 beta, I haven't been doing that for a while, and everything seems to be going very smooth. So I would say this is a very awesome tool to keep in the back burner, or in the drawer, if you will, for a rainy day where you need to go through that. Again, just like we were talking about before with the previous application, it certainly beats going folder by folder, launching into safe mode. Although, with that being said, NVIDIA cache, I did experience that, yes, you still have to go into safe mode in order to clear that, which makes perfect sense to me, simply because of the nature of the way that cache file works. There are certain files that are being actively used while the Windows operating system is in normal mode. So there are certain files that may not be able to be removed without being in safe mode. That's a hindrance of Windows, or I should not say a hindrance, I should say it's a restriction. It is a restriction of the software itself, so that can't be avoided. But other than that, it is a great tool, very simple and easy to use, and takes a lot of the workload off you to maintain a nice, clean flight simulator environment. This next tool, I'm not going to lie, I thought was slicker than crap. The one thing that I would like to do that I have not been able to determine if you can, it does not look like it. It looks like it runs only on the PC itself. I would love to see this in a browser format where it can run on a mobile device, but this is Addons Pad, a scratchpad utility app for ATC and weather data. So punching up the view here. Let me bring that down a little bit for you guys. It is a very large window. And you guys can see here what it does. So it imports the weather directly from SimBrief. You can also refresh the weather, as you guys can see here, and it will populate the required fields accordingly. You also have an ability to type in and add some notes if necessary. And then even down at the bottom, let me bring that up for you again, large window here. At the bottom, you have all of your routing information down there as well. So it really is sort of a one and done stop shop. You have everything from your runway information, you have your MEDAR information, and the ATC notes that need to be added, taxi information, things like that that you want to throw in there, and then all of your required flight plan information, the more critical stuff that you would be needed in order to accurately set up the FMC or FMS, whichever aircraft you're in order to have a good flight. So again, this is the Addons pad. Very, very cool tool. Again, the only thing that I would like to see with this tab, and maybe it's there and I missed it, I didn't think I did, I was looking for it, trust me, is it would be nice to be able to throw this, for example, on an iPad or something to that effect, where you could have it off to the side. I think that would be really slick. But outside of that, it is absolutely phenomenal. Very, very quick and very, very responsive, and again, works for both 2020 and 2024. If you are looking for a well-performing and affordable head and eye tracking solution that works with both webcams and cell phones, then Be My Tracker is the software for you. Be My Tracker boasts a very simple setup and a very large list of customization options that make setting the both eye and head tracking to your desire. The eye tracking makes it very easy to glance down at gauges or look up at mirrors or maybe look over at your wingman when flying in formation, while being able to customize the head tracking to be able to turn your head as far as you wish and possibly be looking behind you at the same time. Be My Tracker currently supports over 200 games and simulators natively, and a vast larger amount in conjunction with the freeware software OpenTrack. Be My Tracker can be purchased on either Steam or on their website for only $30 US, making it one heck of a bang for your buck. They also offer a free demo on Steam if you wish to try it before you buy it. Pick up your copy of Be My Tracker using the link down in the description below. The next one I have talked about in a previous video, that is MSFS Glass. I was jumping up and down when I saw this one previously, and guys, I cannot stress enough how absolutely fantastic this application is. I use it constantly. From this application, you can do so many different things. For me, this is it's a battle. It's a battle of whether or not I would want to stick with this or go with like Sim EFB, or excuse me, SkyPad. That's what I was trying to think of. Sorry, too many applications that I've run through on this one. But it's a really, really awesome tool, guys, and I'm going to try my best not to ramble too much. You can throw it on your iPad. You can throw it on, or you can throw it on a monitor. You can throw it on your iPad. You can throw it on a cell phone or any kind of mobile device that has a web access to it. And then it has its own ability where you can clear the search bars and things like that, so it goes full screen. Has a ton of different features, including aircraft control, from autopilot to radios and navigation radios, to your visible map, as you guys can see there on the screen. It does so much. It's very, very lightweight, very, very fast product. It works extremely well. I absolutely cannot say enough good things about this product. And of course, this one particularly is for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I do not believe this works in 2020 officially, although I have gotten most functions that I use at least to work in 2020 without any issue. But you do see here that it does show a flag for 2020, meaning it is not officially supported. But I can tell you again that at least all of the features that I currently use for it do work. So fantastic to the developer. The previous version of this was called Mobile Companion App. I loved it, used it until I was blue in the face, until one day this guy, I tell you, without my permission, stopped supporting it. And, one of these days he and I are going to have to talk over lunch about that, because that really hurt my feelings. But anyways, I cannot say enough. I cannot say enough. Even if you don't think that you can see yourself using this, it's a great app, especially like for commercial flights. If you're, you know, out watching TV with the kids, whatever it may be, or the wife or the missus or the husband or whoever it may be, this is a fantastic. Or you just, you know, want to go to the bathroom and just sit there and hang out on the porcelain throne for a while. This is a great app to have because you can do all of your flight monitoring from there as well. Anyways, again, that is MSFS Glass. Cannot say enough great things about this application. Absolutely perfect and beautiful. Next one up to most probably needs absolutely no introduction whatsoever, but let's throw it out there just in case, and that is MSFS Pop-Out Panel Manager 2024. Now, once again, you can see that support for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is officially suspended with this application, but 2024 is obviously the new thing, and this application is beyond amazing. There's just not enough good things that you can say about this. So let's talk about briefly what it does. Obviously, the first part of the title is pretty specific. It helps you manage popping out the panels. So you have a flight sim setup and you have multiple little monitors and screens. Maybe you've got a G1000, as you see here on the screen, the display. It's actually a G3000 setup because it looks like it's out of the TBM. But so you have all of these little displays, and let's say you've also got a touch screen that you've got the G3000 touch panel on, and maybe a few other pieces of information that you want on various screens. You're using a bunch of little monitors. First off, this application will help you fine-tune the location of each one of these pop-out screens. You can tune it right down to the millimeter, if you will, as well as removing the bezels with this application. It is also aircraft specific, meaning each time you load into that aircraft, as long as MSFS Pop-Out Panel Manager is running, these panels will automatically populate to the respected monitors as long as you have not made any changes within Windows to their location. If you have moved their location, then you're going to have to reassign them to that correct location, but again, not too hard to do. One of the bigger things that it does that Microsoft Flight Simulator still, which blows my mind, does not officially support is touchscreens. Pop-Out Panel Manager allows you to do that. You can buy, for example, what I have used to test it on is a 7-inch touchscreen monitor. It costs about $50 on Amazon. Not bad at all. And I have put the G3000, as you are seeing right here on the screen, on it, enabled it in MSFS Pop-Out Panel Manager, or designated it as a touchscreen, as well as configuring it with inside of Windows, of course. But once doing that, now the touchscreen functionality that should exist already in the sim now works on your touchscreens for Microsoft Flight Simulator with the use of Pop-Out Panel Manager. The other beautiful part is that when you actually make a keystroke via the touchscreen, it will automatically refocus Microsoft Flight Simulator as a Windows focus point. Reason why that's a critical thing is even though you have a Microsoft Flight Simulator window on top of it, if you were not to enable that particular feature and you were to touch on your touchscreen, it would actually pull the Windows focus away from Microsoft Flight Simulator and may cause some controls or functionality not to work in the sim, and you'll be sitting there chasing your hair wondering why XYZ isn't working or responding, and it's actually because Microsoft Flight Simulator is not Windows current focus. This application helps alleviate that by automatically re-enabling the focus point. Those are just a few highlights of what this amazing application can do. It does far more than that, and it is a wonderful tool for fine-tuning any of your pop-out panels, enabling touchscreen support, navigating this through multiple aircraft without having to configure it every single time you get into it. Again, with the disclaimer that you have not moved the monitor location with inside of Windows from the last time that you had it set up. Anyways, again, that is MSFS Pop-Out Panel Manager. And finally, the last one here that we have on the list is Cabin Sim Airline Announcements. This is just a fun one that I wanted to throw in here. This adds a bit of immersion, gives you a bit of extra sound. You have everything from emergency reports to airline-specific reporting, as you guys can see here. They have quite a few going on right now, and these are just a few of the ones that are currently listed. Now, nothing crazy about this. There's no magic to it or anything like that, but it is a very awesome little tool that just adds that little extra piece of immersion to your flight sim experience if that's something that you're looking for. Now, there are certain aircraft that already do this. For example, the fly-by-wire A320 is just one example. When you flip the landing lights on, or I think it's the taxi lights on, it will automatically start your reporting. Seatbelt signs is another one where the cabin safety announcements will start. You know, there are things like that that are already existent in some of these aircraft. But this is just another neat way to sort of enhance that capability and add a bit more fun to your flight while you're navigating through those wonderful blue skies. Hopefully they're blue, because storms suck. Anyways. So, guys, that is our list of mods, tools, and add-ons for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024. I'm going to do my best to try to get better about doing more of these videos. I remember you guys really used to like them. I hope that you guys still do. Let me know if you have any mods, tools, or add-ons you would like me to check out. And plus, everyone reading down in the comments below would probably like to check them out as well. So if there's a cool one that you guys want me to give a shout out to, please let me know down below. And don't forget to join our Discord, which is also in the description below, where you guys can reach out to my community as well as speak to me direct if you wish. As always, my friends, thank you for the continued support. Stay safe and healthy. I'll see you in the next one.